Hello guys and welcome back, and I know my vlogs will be massively out of spec now because obviously I was at the Practical Classic and Restoration Show at Birmingham, the NEC. I've just got back from there on Sunday evening, late on. It's now Tuesday. Things are absolutely mental this week, guys. Probably going to be a short one. Probably going to sound a bit rushed because I'm off on Friday because I'm away in the caravan, having the day off. My dad's also away that day. He's away on holiday somewhere. And I'm having a nice day on my own. I'm going to tow the caravan up to the site on Friday morning. And I'm not going to work. I'm going to set the caravan up. And it's just going to be me and the two dogs to chill for the day. And then at about tea time, Holly's going to make her way over with Olivia. And I'll probably be going to pick Charlie up from school. So we've got a bit of a caravan theme this week. So I apologise if you guys aren't interested in cars. But what I've got to do this week for my own needs, as you know, the ML has sat since September. That's, 6 months. All I've done, which was on last week's vlog, was drove it from the storage yard to my drive, and it's not moved since. So I've got a little bit of a list of things I want to do. First up, it needs a good clean. Second up, just going to go around, stick it on the lift and just check nothing has kind of rusted or is going to be dangerous for towing the caravan. Apart from that, I was going to do an oil change, but I developed a very slight little top-end tap, but it only did it on startup for about sort of, 20 seconds max. But what I did put in before I put it into storage was some top-end treatment, and it's made it spot on there now. It started up after nearly 4 months of not being started, not a single noise. But what I have got is an upgraded oil filter with the string around it to reinforce it, the man one, as you can see there. So what I have done is ordered some Forte. As you know, I just chucked some cheap stuff into it. Some Forte, and it takes 12 litres of oil, that beast does. So I only just put it in before it went to storage. So what I'm going to do is put the Altea off the road for a month, and I'm going to park it up where it was last time and use the ML as my main car, bar the van, through the month of April. We'll be going into, obviously, towing the caravan up to there, because it's not far. It's only like 5 miles or so. And then just using the ML for the full month of April. And then, at the end of that, I'm going to drain the oil, maybe put a flush in it, put fresh oil in with the Forte top-end treatment, and that'll probably set it for the summer. Spark plugs were all iridium the year before. They'll not ever need change for the miles I'm doing from now on. The air filter, again, that's fine. That was new. Pollen filter's new. So, and all the gear on oil and diffs and transfer boxes have all been done. So it's only going to need probably an oil change this year. Tyres, a few little perishing marks I found on them, but they were like that before it went to storage. But them tyres are super duper expensive, so it'll just be getting lived with and advised when I MOT it in August, because it's just too much money for the miles I do. I know I tour with it, but I've got breakdown cover. We'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Unless I can find some cheap second-hand, good tyres on rims or some off-road chunky ones or something. But it's a bit of a quirky size, a 255. But I do believe that's actually meant to have a 265 or a 275. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. Somebody might be selling a set of... I've got a lovely set in there. General Grabbers, but that on 16-inch rims. But I am going to find out is if Jeep wheels will fit the Mercedes and they'll just bolt straight on. But I don't know. Well, anyways, getting off track. First up, I want to say the NEC was absolutely fantastic. I want to thank everybody there who were there. We were with the, I forgot the name on the stand. It's the professional. Anyways, you'll have seen the name of the stand, the postage coming there. They are a great group of guys. I will write it down and re-mention it this week. I think they're called the Prestige and Retro Classic or Modern Classic group. Anyways, great lads. The top guy who runs that, Alex, spot on, and all the other lads who were there with the, obviously you've seen it with the Volvo Volvo? Held my mind. The Rover Sterling, the Astra G, loved it. The Calibra and the lad with the Sierra Cosworth. But yeah, spot on. Had a fantastic weekend. But what I will say with the shows is the car show is one thing. It's great through the day. Just manning the stand, seeing everybody. But the night time I thoroughly enjoyed. If you're coming back on it was more of like a holiday than a just cars. I love cars, like all of us do, but sometimes it's too much, and it's nice just to sit back and have basically a clown about, a lark about. That's a Geordie way of putting it. Just have a bit of social fun, laughing, joking. And to be quite honest, my flipping jaw is sore from the amount of laughing I did, because them group of lads were absolutely great. All basically bouncing off each other, taking the mick out of this, that and the other, in a civilised way. But yeah, fantastic. Really did enjoy it. So I was planning on having a night in the pool. Like I was mentioning, the spa and everything. Never did, because we stopped in the hotel the first night, knackered. Second night we went out in Birmingham, which I really wanted to do, because I hate going to somewhere. Like when I've explained this, I went to Mexico and we didn't leave the hotel because we were told it was dangerous. You can't do this. So people say, "Oh, what was Mexico like?" I'm like, I can only tell you what the route from the airport to the hotel was like, and what the hotel was like. Nothing else. So I've been to Birmingham once in my life. Which was when old Joe hurt himself about 10-15 years ago, and me and my dad drove down, bought his car back, that was it. Seen none of it, had nothing to do with it. So I thought, no, stuff it, I'm going to Birmingham. I didn't ask them, I'm hoping these lads decide to go out, and they did, and I joined in with them, and we didn't do much. We just went out, had a meal, had a couple of pints, and come back, which I was happy at. And another couple, Sarah and, I forgot the guy's name, his wife drove, and she had a Ford Galaxy, so all seven of us jumped in there, so it didn't even cost the silly taxi fees. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Went to the Shakespeare pub in the centre of Birmingham. Great, fantastic, and like I said, couldn't have asked for better. Shattered, like, every night getting to bed early hours of the morning, up early hours of the morning. It's a long day in that NEC. It's very loud and draining, so to speak, because there's so much noise and stuff going on around you. So to speak, I'm still shattered now. I still need to catch up on my sleep. So that was that. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Also spoke to Katie. She had a Scirocco there at the show. And mine's gone blank. The rubbish mechanic. Give him a follow and subscribe. Lovely guy. He was the guy with the Jeep you seen us doing the restoration. He's also an MOT tester. Works on HGVs. He's an absolutely spot on, lovely guy. My mind is terrible for names. I was telling this for Alex, but yeah, rubbish mechanic. Look him up on Facebook. Lovely guy. So, anyways, quickly, what's in? I've got this A-Class. This is why I'm not doing much filming, because I'm not interested in this at all. It's a Mercedes A-Class A160. We fit an LED light for this. She had to wait 3 months for a new LED light for this car. £250. I've got to reset the service light on it. All that malarkey in there. 42,000 mile. Oil filter on it is buried down here. And as you can see, I think this is about a Euro 6 petrol. It's got all sorts of temperature sensors. And any of you guys know what this is? I wanted to especially put this on the film. Do you know what that is? That is a fire extinguisher. If you follow this pipe, it actually sprays it. Actually, I'm saying temperature sensor. I got that totally wrong. It's basically what happens if these have a front impact. These GDFs, which is like a DPF, are that hot. The gas from the air conditioning, which is R1234YF, which is very flammable, which is the new gas, which is meant to be more environmentally friendly, but it's explosive and flammable. Bit of a silly idea. So what happens is that basically hits the exhaust in a crash, the gas comes out, ignites, and the whole basically car goes on fire. So they've had to design a fire extinguisher, so when you have a bump, it sprays foam or something into the exhaust. Mental. If a car can't be in a crash without going on fire. But yeah, this is the A160, which I assume is the lower powered version. It's obviously a turbocharged, I believe, 1600 engine. Don't quote us, I'm not interested. But these are the high pressure direct injection. Like I've told you, it's a common rail, like a diesel. So you've got your high pressure pump, your high pressure injection rail with 4 high pressure injectors. A lot to go wrong, and they do actually pollute a lot more than what you think. So yeah, this has just been in for air filter, which is done. Oil filter, the oil's gone in. It just needs to have a bit of mucking about with the computer, and that's it done, really. Not a great deal to speak of on these. Again, that's a silly place for an ECU. I was just telling my dad, he didn't know. Then you know what that is? In the exhaust? Any ideas?
No.
Fire extinguisher, because the gas, the 1, 2, 3, 4,
you told us that before.
the gas in the air con is explosive, so you have a bump, hits the exhaust, and they catch fire.
Aye.
So we're designing cars now, and that theoretically under servicing should be changed every few years. People don't choose to do it, but I wouldn't like to think. So obviously you can see 2018 there. and it's a 67 plate car. So there's big money you've got to get involved with. Yeah. Just madness, absolute madness. But yeah, that's this one. Just needs the trays put on. I'm going to do that now. It's not a great deal else. This thing, AdBlue fault more than likely. I'll come back to you. I just need to run it now because it wouldn't. The oil was bloody popping. Just watch it. Doesn't 2 seconds. Now as you can hear, that sounds not nice. The petrols you see with direct injection, not the greatest. And these lights have just done all sorts of fancy dancing about. Cost a fortune. But yeah, we got involved with this. It was actually this time last year. These lights are super expensive and took months to get. But when you get a look in here, let's put my finger in, yeah? Look. Black. That's more dirty than most newer diesels. So yeah, quick look underneath. These springs on these are common to go. Quite a common fault. But they look okay. And as you can see underneath, it's just a whole load of expense sensors on the exhaust and everything on them. But yeah. But like I've said, this is in for, more than likely I'm thinking, an AdBlue fault, which is probably going to have to go along the lines, because I'll not want to spend the money on it, along the lines of RGM and getting it deleted out, because if you can actually do it, because these things are big. It'll either be a knock sensor or an AdBlue injector fault. I'm nearly sure of it, not 100%, but we'll see when the scanner's on it. And we've got this little mic. I'm lost what these are. Is this a K13 or something? I can't remember. Let's have a look on the thing. Yeah, K13, so you can always see on the chassis number there, K13. Never liked these ones. These are my least favourite mic I've ever made. Mainly because I think they're like Chinese built or something. They're not like a proper Nissan. They've got a little 3-cylinder rattle box engine in them. I like the newer ones that look a bit like a Fiesta. And I like all of the older ones. But these were, I think, the most ugliest, worst built mic was that they did, and I'm sorry if anybody owns one, but I don't think that's a very nice looking car at all. In fact, I'm going to do a photograph of that one, love or hate. So there we go. Just quickly, I'm going to take you across to Hunter. I'm not, actually. I'm going to this Fiasco's, which is another reason this week's going to be short, is because of this bullshit, excuse my language, we're having to deal with. They're coming here, they've had all our gate blocked off, we can't get in and out with bigger vehicles. Look at this mess. We're having to deal with all that. And all that, and they've got 4- and 5-way traffic lights, so God knows, just an absolute disgrace. And the attitude of some of the lads there, couldn't give a toss, basically, just blocking the way, and we're needing to be in and out of vehicles, we're in the garage, and they basically turn around and say, we don't work for this company, so we don't care. That's not good, is it? I don't know who they were, but just quickly show you, little Hunter, he had his stitches out yesterday, in case any of you are wondering. Stay. So he had his stitches. You going to show everybody? Want to sit up? Healing nicely there now. Just having to keep Harvey off because he's keep licking it. So yeah. He doesn't understand why he's locked in a cage. Because obviously we've got to keep them separate. Because we don't want that getting infected, do we? Brave little dog, I tell you, he is. So yeah, we'll leave it there. I'll catch up to you with that Vauxhall. But like I've said, towards the end of this week, I'm going to do less car content and a bit of camping. Or I might do a separate video on bits on the caravan, but it's quite hard to do all separate videos. So I'll catch you soon. Just a quick update, guys. Just while I quickly switch off that radio. The Merc is away. I changed the battery on the key fob because it causes all sorts of messages to flash up on the dashboard. I may show you later on what you do with the keys on them, but you actually take the blade out the key and you pop up the little back. It's quite a good idea. Just what's been in. This we thought had a broken spring. The customer thought something was broken. As it happens, it was just a little stone that was caught in the underneath the spring at the front. It needs a proper test drive, but it's already had 2 new springs fitted, so nothing wrong with that. I'm going to get on and scan that, but I just thought I'd quickly show you. We did a bit review of the Altair last week. That's going into storage now for a month, so I just thought I'd show you one last time. We'll have a look at that. Cracking car this is. I don't want to put it off the road for a month, but I think it's going to be the best thing to do. While the Mercedes, I'm using it. I know it's not a great deal to tax, but it's still money out my bank for no reason, so I may as well just take it off the road, tax the Mercedes, because that'll now be taxed from the 1st of April right up until the end of September time. So that costs a lot of money every month. It's like 30 quid, and I've got my van on the road. and the Altea, and shortly, somewhere midway through April, we'll be getting the ZX back on the road. So when I've got them all on the road, I'll be alternating, kind of, the ML just stays on for any holiday trips we may book. The ZX will stay on pretty much most of it, but what I will be doing between the van and the Altea is swapping around each one or the other. So yeah, so that's that. I just want to give you an update. I'll come back to you soon when I find out what's going on with this combo. Just an update, guys. Bit of an issue. Come back, and Hunter had decided to chew through his harness for some reason. So I had to go out and try and find another one. Otherwise, I can't walk him home tonight. So, what was that all about? Huh? Come here. Come here. He thinks he's getting wrong. Come here. There. Good lad. So that's that anyway. One catastrophe over. Did the scan on, I call it the Bilingo, guys. If you don't realise, this is just a Citroen Bilingo Vauxhall combo, but it's just a Bilingo. It's all it is. And this is your AdBlue usual carry on. And it's locked now, like, but did the scan, the usual thing, the AdBlue injector is seized. It's not injecting. Therefore, the next code is the NOx is below threshold because it's not pumping in the AdBlue. Obviously, it's detecting that. So an AdBlue injector for one of them costs a fortune. Then you'll do the AdBlue injector, and then you'll start getting NOx sensor faults, which, as you know, are £300-500. And I spoke to the lady. This is just have it deleted out completely, like map the AdBlue out, and also she wants a stage 1 remap. I'm going to put the figures in. I think they've got about 115 brake. More than likely it'll be the same as that Picasso. It'll probably take it up to about 140, 150, somewhere around there. But when the guy's in there and he's doing the mapping out of the AdBlue, it's just a fraction more to have a stage 1 remap, which I personally think is worth the extra money. Not to go screeching about, to get better miles per gallon, because you're not having to keep dropping gears as often to get up hills and when you've got loads. So that's what that's getting done. I'll show you the codes tomorrow. Just I've got the scanner is currently on charge, but it's basically as simple as AdBlue injector stuck closed, which means it's not pulsing, so therefore it's not spraying no AdBlue in, which then causes, I'll get the key, I'll show you, which then causes a whole load of lights to come up. So I'll just grab the key and I'll show you what's going on with it. Just bear with us 1 second. Right. Because obviously people panic because the engine light comes on and it tells you all this, that and the other, but the top and bottom of it is, it's just the AdBlue injector. And on these, I don't think you can see it. It sits at the bottom of the engine bay. But when we start it up, we'll jump in. I've had the scanner on, so that's been removed. We'll shut the door and we'll start it up. Let's have a look. So as you can see, turn that round. There you see. So we've got the spanner light, we've got the AdBlue light, we've got the engine management light. Engine fault repair needed. So the last was panicking, thinking it's an engine. There's nothing wrong with the engine, but naturally the AdBlue, see there, emissions fault as well. So obviously you've got the engine light, AdBlue light, service light, and all this nonsense on here. So clearly the way forward with it, since she's actually keeping the vehicle, I said if you hand it back, I would just leave it and just say there's a fault occurred, and it would technically be under their warranty. But I don't know how that nonsense works, to be honest. So that's that. That's getting in tomorrow. Stage 1 remap, AdBlue delete. That's a total delete of the system. The NOx sensors, the AdBlue tank, the AdBlue pump, the injector. You don't take nothing away. It all stays there in situ. It just tells the car it's no longer there. The van, whatever you want to call it. So happy days. Doesn't affect the MOT in case anybody asks. If you got pulled over by Volvo or anything like that, there's nothing to see. It's just a software update. Maybe, I know you'll hear is going, oh, well, eventually they'll do a NOx test in the MOT. That's a long way off, guys. Well before anything like that. They couldn't just suddenly phase that in. And if they did, that'd be hundreds of thousands of cars not being able to get an MOT. So you could cross that bridge when you come to it. But I personally don't think that'll happen for a long time. Anyways, got the old W163, the ML350 in. I'm actually away on Friday, so I'm desperately getting through this thing to try and get it sorted. So, first up, the screen wash wasn't working. So I've been on doing that. The wipers on this car always, when you leave it for a month or so, get very tight. I should really strip everything down and strip the spindles down and stuff, but I just know there'll be problems, and I just know I'll not be able to get a hold of parts. So therefore, I'm trying not. I don't try to get too involved because this scuttle is quite brittle. So I have actually had the screen wash jets off, blasted them through the airline, hence it's out. But it's, and I've also had the, I'll just lift this up, also had the little pump out on the tank, but the 7.6 litres. 7.6 litres, the biggest screen wash tank I've almost ever seen. But yeah, of course, under here, like I've mentioned, I've got the oil and filter to do at a later date, because it's also got some top end treatment in, but it's not bad. Trust us, it ain't bad what it's doing. It's in fact, I'll fire it up. It is absolutely sweet. It's just me being a little bit too picky, but we'll fire it up. It's absolutely sweet as you like. As you can hear, there's no tap in there whatsoever. It's just me. I picked up a little bit on the top end, but I think it just needs a good run, a new oil, a flush out of the oil, and then some new oil in with the Forte treatment. But bar that, it's absolutely faultless. So we'll just switch it off. But the area's lovely. Oh, I'll tell you what I have getting while I was away in Birmingham when I had time on my phone. I've got an upgrade disc for this. 2014. So it's 10 years more up to date than the one that's in from 2004. But still, I just wanted a little bit more up to date one, because I do find it quite fascinating to have an old sat nav running. I just quite like it. So that's that. I've been around. All the doors were quite tight with the start. So I've just been around with the clear grease and just done those. And also done all the catches on the boot and on the all over the place, basically everyone I can find. The only issue I found with it, the number plate lights. The driver's one needed a tap and then a come back on. So I've just got those off. I just wish Mercedes had galvanised the rest of the body on these things, but they had actually galvanised the screws that hold these in. So two nice new ones in. They're the old ones. You can see how black they've gone. So they're just going to get put in the bin. So two new number plate lights. I've checked all the other lights with my dad. On the subject of lights, the headlamps with it just standing all winter, I'm going to give them a duck's back, which I'll show you before and after on it. So we'll be getting wherever I've put it, the duck's back on there, get the lights cleaned. Once I've done that, really not a great deal else. I've already done the tyre pressures at home. Don't worry, that's just the screen wash. It looks like alien blood. Wipers are freed off. Really bar that, I'm just going to stick it up on the lift, which I'll show you, and just give it a once over, check the wheels for any play, mainly the, the important stuff, that the brakes, the pads and everything are fine, but just to check that there's no ball joints have gone, trap rod ends where, we're going to get a wheel falling off while towing the caravan, which we definitely don't want that. But that's really it, just a once over safety check. And what I might do with my tin of silver, if it fares up and we have a little bit of time, I know this is scruffy as you get, guys, but this car is purely just a workhorse for me, and there's too much rust around the body to start being picky with it. As you can see, there's just little bits here, there, and everywhere, but that's just the odd little bit where as you can see, just over the winter, where it's just turned a little bit brown. So I'm just going to repaint over all of this, just when I get 2 minutes, and just tidy it up, really. It's never going to look great, but it is what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's a working car, So we'll get these number plate lights on. I've already checked all the tow bar system. That's fine. The electrics are working. Like I said, I've checked all the lights. Because remember, just one number plate light being out on a car like this with a tow bar on, towing a caravan. I know that you wouldn't be able to see the number plate lights when the caravan's on. What I'm saying is I do use the car quite a bit when we're away, where I can be seen, and it's just the hassle you don't want from a copper with nothing else better to do. Always got a number plate light out or a stop light out. Just make sure all my lights are working, all my tyres are legal, and that's it. But the only thing I was saying, there's a few little bits of starting on the tyres just there, but that's absolutely nothing to go replace them, because the tread and everything's on them's perfect. So that's no more than an advisory on an MOT. So that's it. That's all I'm going to get on with now. Get these bulbs in, stick it up on the lift. Can't do nothing with the combo until tomorrow when RGM's booked in. It's going to be a pretty short week, guys. So I'll catch you maybe when the ML's up today, or if not, when the work's in tomorrow. Right, guys, I just thought I'd show you the ML while it's on the lift. It's not actually that bad underneath compared to what it looks like on the surface. I mean, we'll spin the camera around. Obviously, on the surface, we know it's the typical Mercedes scabbiness on it, but it's tidy. Have a look around the back. I've just been on descaling it, so to speak. I've just wax oiled around the chassis, but when you get a look around the chassis, it's not really bad at all. The body mountings, it's a pretty solid, robust old beast, this thing is, I'll tell you. You know, I've just gone round all the bits which were exposed, but when you get a look at the chassis, it's really heavy gauge stuff, you know. I've been along there, the outriggers, round to the front. It's really not bad. The chassis's not got any areas of really bad corrosion. I mean, it's still got the black paint on most of it. It's just a shame they go the way they do on the bodies, you know, because the actual chassis aren't bad at all. Right to the front. I mean, when you look up there and stuff, it's not bad. I fitted some new horns because the ones were knackered that were on. It's, you know, when you look up there where, you know, they gets all the bad weather, it's not too bad. So yeah, yes, yeah, I've checked all the ball joints and everything. The brakes have cleaned up lovely, and it's only done about 3 miles. So once I've done some high speed driving, they'll be no bother at all. But you can see this has got a torsion bar system. If you notice, there's no front springs. You've just got a shocker there, and these here are your torsion bars, which twist, and the twist to go all the way back to here. See, they're your torsion bars, you see. And on the back, you've got a simple shocker and spring design, bottom arm, and a top wishbone arm, dual wishbone arm system. Yeah, even in the usual bits where they go quite badly, it's not bad. It's not great, as in on the body. You know, like some people are saying, oh, tidy the body up. There's no point. There's just absolutely no point. But I'll just keep on top of it as best as I can, and it hasn't fared too badly for the last few years. So there we go, I just thought I'd show you that. And before, like I've said, it was actually a loose connect on the tow bar at the back here. I've secured that back up. It was just where I tied it all into place. And the number plate lights are sorted up there as well. I actually had 2 LED bulbs sat, so I've just used it in there. So they're sorted as well. So really now, I'm just going to give it a good wash. What was that? There was a few other bits and bobs which I'll get back to you on. There's not a great deal else now. So this is in for tomorrow, as you've seen. The remapping guy's coming for this. I'll show you what gets done with it. So I'll catch you on tomorrow's vlog. Just a quick update. I thought I'd show before I get on with work what we've got in. Got this BMW 120. Again, BMW playing with the numbers. A bit like they do on my ML 350, but it's a 3.7. But all the other range follow on. But this is your 320i, which a lot of people wouldn't believe. When you open the bonnet, you've got a Peugeot Citroën engine. Excuse me, you got your 1.6 Prince engine. So yeah, I mean, that is a few developments of this, which BMW have changed. Obviously, with this being the 320, that basically they do a 316, 318 and a 320. This has got like the bigger turbo on it. As you can see, a big Garrett turbo. They do fly along, but you've just got to look after them. And if you look after them, like this guy does, you don't really get any problems, really. I mean, a bad engine is only as bad as you make it if you don't look after it. If you do what he's doing, which is regularly, he's changing the oil every 6 months. And if you look at this, I've just shown here, we just changed this about 6 months ago. And if you look how dirty it still is, so this flush this time will get this oil nice and clean, and that's the main issue these have with timing chains. So we'll get that done, but I just wanted to show you down the back here. We've had to buy a special socket a while ago, a little skinny socket to fit down there, because when you put the bigger ones on, you can't get a ratchet in, and you can't get a spanner in. Access is easy, it's just you can't get nothing really in to move it. So we bought that. So there you go. It's like everything else in a garage, you need a tool for absolutely everything. Like that tool only gets used for these and maybe an odd other few. You know, a joiner buys a saw, you know, a cutter or something for £1,000, and he will use that every day, every single day. We buy a tool, a special tool for a car, and that's clearly not £1,000, but it was lucky if it gets used once or twice a year, and you've got to have a whole cabinet full of this. This is what we keep saying. To be a mechanic, you need so much money and outlay in parts, tools, and space. Whereas, you know, but a painter, it's, you know, a few dust sheets, brushes, buckets, rollers, whatever else. None of that adds up even to equate to what we do. And to be quite honest, we don't really get to charge a great deal more than painters, plumbers, electricians and all the rest of it, where you just need a van full of tools and you're away. So yeah, remember that when you complain about a bill from a garage, just how much money we have to spend to actually even just work on your car, on God knows what, you know. So I just want to go on, this car is a direct injection. It's a petrol, remember? And have a look at this. See? Absolutely black. So all this bullshit with letting petrols into emission zones. In fact, here's a perfect example. While we've got this in, it's a new one, direct injection, this will be exempt, that's exempt as well, right? Let's take that on my finger, and we're going to have a look at a 3.7 on the exhaust, shall we? Euro 4, with that finger, obviously. Nothing, see? So there's your rubbish. There's, you know, a Euro 6 petrol, black as the ace of spades, an old Euro 4 3.7, not a bit. Explain that one, because there is no explaining it. It's a government con. So anyways, that's that. We've got a little eye going. Like I said, this is just oil and filter, more or less a flush, basically. So that's that. These little eye goes, I like the shape of these new ones. I think they're really nice. They've improved them. They look a lot more kind of purposeful. So I just thought, I had the new C1 in the other day, and the 108. This is the Toyota version, obviously. But yeah, you seen them when I did the comparison. But I think the iGo generally looks the best out the whole lot of them. Actually, I will say. So this is in for an MOT in a service, but there's never much to these to do for a service because they're lovely little cars to work on. Oil and air filter, nice 3-cylinder Toyota engine, just goes in, no problem at all. Your little, like it says you there, your 1KR engine. Again, look after the timing chains, change the oil, you never get any bother. And the only other car we've got in, and the only other thing we've got in is a Volvo, which I'll show you when it comes into the garage. It's just parked over there, a V50 or something, S50, S40, I don't know. And that's the combo getting the AdBlue mapped out in a remap, which I will write down the figures for you. But once the Volvo's in, I'll show you then. Just an update on the BMW, just so you can see what kind of nonsense we have to deal with. So obviously you can see we need to get a proper tool, which I must say it's the first time we've used it. It's fantastic. And it's just currently draining away. It actually has drained away quite a bit since I've been on it. But if you have a look in here, I'll just dip my finger. Absolutely black. These, me and my dad are in agreement, these new petrols, direct injection petrols, the oil on them is absolutely terrible. Non-direct injection, just in case you don't know what that means, basically the new petrols with direct injection, it's like a diesel, it's common rail. The injector goes directly into the cylinder, through the cylinder head, whereas indirect injection, like probably what these are, the injectors are actually in the inlet manifold. So they're like, it's like a form of indirect injection. So if you get what I mean, so obviously on this, the injectors go straight down into the cylinder head and the petrol is injected directly into the cylinder. Whereas most stuff like these, my ML, you've got an intake manifold, which of course you can't see on this or that one, and then you can just see your line of injectors where they spray into the little ports. And they actually burn a lot cleaner than these. These are meant to be good under the bullshit terms of saying it. They're more bother than enough. You've seen the state of the exhaust and the engine oil gets absolutely black. But they meet the new criteria where these, well, they do sort of, but they don't. So even though that's exempt anyway, but it's a bit like that diesel. That's an indirect injection diesel. The injectors on them are in like a little kind of area towards the back. Just some idiots deciding to go speeding out there. Yeah, so that's why modern diesels don't need glow plugs to start, because the fuel is injected straight into the cylinder, whereas like that Astra out there, the DIs and the DTIs, it's indirect injection. So there's just a little bit of information for you. So yeah, this again I just forgot to mention before, it's the twin turbo one. So there's like a big turbo and a little turbo all in one. Very, very complex, and when they go wrong, very expensive. But I just want to show you what I've been faffing about with for the last 10-15 minutes is this. The scanner plugged into it just to get it. So on the little computer, when you switch it on, it says in that corner, service, there, 19,000 mile, third, 24. It's obviously the third 23. But just to get that stupid little screen to do that takes 10-15 minutes of faffing about with a computer, which I hate. So now what I'm going to do is, just to show you what we use, is what oil drainer. And I'm just going to get the rest of the dirty oil out of that oil filter housing. Pop the new one in, which is here. Nice man one, original equipment. You get a new sump seal, and you also get a new seal for the filter. Just thought I'd update you on that. And in the meantime, that's done. But again, there's not a great deal to see on the little eye, because it's all under covers. The new air filter's gone into here. Like I've said, no tools required. 4 little clips, and the oil filter's underneath. Great little engines. So I'll catch you once we've got this up and running and the Volvo in. I just thought I'd show you the lights on this Volvo, because they're rather impressive. You ain't going to miss those indicators, are you? I don't know if that comes up on camera, just how bright that is. But that's probably the best indicators I've ever seen on a car. So there's the indicators. Just do it on the left. If you notice, see, they go... It basically runs through the light, and they've got projector LEDs on them. The other side... Yeah, down to side lights, if that's possible. There, so then obviously what were the indicators then become the running lights, or side lights, whatever you want to call them. Lights off, there, so they're brighter, running lights. Then obviously the dip beam, main beam, which will more than likely be the inner bit, yeah. So they're all working. Yes, they're rather quite impressive, those are. So you've got 2 projector LEDs, and you've got another 2 projector LEDs for the main beam, plus this massive strip with Volvo in it. Yeah, really quite impressive, them lights. But unfortunately, because the LEDs will have no headlight wiper moment or headlight washer moment, which is disappointing to say the least. So we'll go on the back and check the back ones. Indicator this side, that's working, and we'll have a look at the other side when we get round. Indicator this side, and you can see that in the mirror, that one's working. And this one, yeah. These aren't, unfortunately, anything to flash at the back. The LED around here, light bars, but not as far as what you would think, because all of this, like the fog lights, they are. Fog lights on, and obviously your LED number plate lights, standard reverse, standard stop lights, yeah. There we go. So that's it done. And this is your V40. Now, the V40 at one point was an estate. These are more of a fastback. So again, Volvo messing around with the numbers and stuff. V40 to me should always have been an estate. This should have been something else, but it isn't. It's a T3, which means it's some development of some Ford engine, which we'll have a look into it. Because when I was looking at the parts for this, they seem to be a bit of an oddball kind of stuff. They are, like, the oil filter, for example, is BMW. The air filter is BMW. Unless I'm looking at the wrong bits here, but I'm positive it is. Yeah, it is. This was for the Volvo. So I just hope the reg has been put in right for this car, because everything's come back as BMW and not Volvo. So just thought I'd show you this while I can actually see it there. Full LED system. I like in a way those little bits, the touches they put in Volvo. They are good, but definitely lacking a headlight washer moment. Maybe that comes better in the range when you get the heated seats, because I don't think this has got heated seats, so it'll be part of the winter package. So I'll have a quick look inside, because I need to find the mileage, because it's usually a task. But yeah, this hasn't got the heated seats, I don't think, so therefore you wouldn't get the headlight washer. So right now, this is the task we've got to deal with. You can view this in live time, to just try and find the speedo on a normal car. Sometimes you can do it by just simply taking the key out, but I don't think this one's going to play a game. This is the nonsense we've got to do just to do an MOT on a car or to service it. And as you can see, you come into here, still just get this nonsense. We'll have a little bit of play on here. Let's have a look, see if we're there. I think that's it there. 39, I'm reading this to me, Dad, 522. 39522. So you got to go for all this malarkey just to get to it. Madness. And that's an easy one. So I'll catch you later. I just want to show you the headlamps on this. It's quite impressive, and I might do a bit of a walk around on it later. So I just thought I'd show you how easy it is to reset the service light on the Volvo compared to a BMW. So, same thing. Obviously, we need the machine plugged in, ignition on, and you just simply go into, I've already done this, so I'm not actually going to do it, auto oil reset, and you just simply press through it like that. This one, actually, I've done this, the SR right there. So there we go, successful, done. And you do the same on the SRI, the service reminder indicator. Job done, that's it. Why do BMW have to be so awkward? It's beyond me. I just want to quickly show you something which actually isn't too awkward on the BMW. So after I just clambered out the Volvo there, I'll just show you the only good thing what BMW do is give you this little window, what you just open with a screwdriver, and it gains you access to the sump. Of course, I'm going to have to get my hands up the ice here, which I don't really want to, but I'll do it for you guys just to show you. Let's have a look. If I can get it to turn. Try not to touch the dirty part of the screwdriver. And there we go. There's the sump. So that is one good thing to do to save taking off all of that under tray, which is a nice little idea. Oh, and by the way, no, that isn't a BMW engine, that's in the Volvo. The wrong digit was given. This registration on this car is SC. And it was SE given. So whatever BMW is, that's the parts we've got. So they're wrong. They're going back. So happy days. Now we're going to have to wait around for an hour to get the parts. All because of one letter being given wrong by the customer. Catch you soon, guys. Just a quick update, guys. That's the Volvo. More or less sorted. Just the usual idiotic ideas, which I've really pissed off with, actually. Took us about 15 minutes just to put 5 litres of oil in, because Volvo have decided to put a cap. But for a start, it doesn't have a dipstick. First load of bullshit to start with, which I absolutely detest. So no dipstick, and then normally I pull the dipstick, oil cap, and it relieves a bit of vacuum. On this, it's worse than any car I've ever done, actually. It just, like, you fill the oil cap up and it just bubble, goes down tiny little bits at a time. So you end up either spilling it everywhere. You've got to take an expensive 020 C5. It's like the new thing, C5 that they have to have, because this will probably have a GDF, like a DPF on a diesel, but for a petrol, like a particle filter. But yeah, usual nonsense with Volvos. Instead of putting a little like socket or something on it, you have a special tool to get the oil filter off. And the sump, I don't know why BMW give you a sump seal, but no other companies do with the oil filter package. So there we go, there's the turbo up there. Big bore exhaust and stuff, but I don't think these are anything what the old Volvos are, because it's just a Ford Focus. This, just so you know, like these new range of Volvo are very much Ford. All not a bad thing, because the Focus drives great. That's all your Focus rear suspension. Certainly not bad by any means. But when you're buying a Volvo, you expect a Volvo, don't you? So yeah, that's this one done. I've done the air filter, oil and filter, and like I've said, the oil for this, I'll show you, there's a little bit left, is green oil. See? Don't know if you can actually, how well you can see that. Looks black, but it's actually green. So I've got that little bit left in there, which it may need to top it up. So yeah, so that's that. Ready for MOT. Just need to put the under tray back on it. And we've got the RGM guy here doing a remap and AdBlue delete on the Berlingo. So he's obviously now deleted out the full AdBlue system, so now the 2 NOx sensors are deleted, the AdBlue pump, AdBlue tank, well, it's there still, but it's forgotten from the car, the van car's ECU. So now it's been remapped and it's had all that deleted. I am going to do the figures. I want to get the original ones and put it into the checker, and I'll come back to you and let you know what kind of a gain it's got. Yeah, so that's RGM guy away. He's just jumping in there. He's done a good job on that. I'll explain a little bit later on what he's done. Quite technical, but I'm not going to explain too much because that's the secrets of the trade, isn't it? But yeah, really clever what he's done. Bypassing all the AdBlue system and obviously getting a remap. So what I am going to do now is have a look at the figures before and after. I'll write them down, and next time you see when I think we're bringing that Berlingo in to do the pads, I'll show you how much power it's gained. So I'll catch you soon. Right guys, just to finish off today's vlog, I just thought I'd show you. Got the, I keep calling it a Berlingo, the combo on the lift. this is what the problem's got. Obviously, as you know, this is just a Berlingo partner with a Vauxhall badge on. Nothing Vauxhall, bar a few little bits. But this is what we've got to deal with. 3 lots of parts to choose from, and nobody knows because they're crossbreed vehicles. And half them are this, half them are that. No one knows. So anyway, we'll hope we've narrowed them down. That's that. And I've got the figures here from the Remap, which is quite impressive for this. So this being, even though it's bottom of the range, I've already been through this vehicle. It's got so much spec. It's unbelievable. But it's a bottom of the range with wheel trims. But it's got lane descent. I think it's even got radar cruise control, full mirrors, Balsam alloy wheels. It's got everything. But they're the figures there, you see. Standard 101 brake horsepower, 100 brake basically, up to 140. So there's a 39% increase from 250 newton meters of torque to 340, a 36 newton meter increase, as well as the AdBlue delete. So this thing will be a little flyer now. It'll be a completely different vehicle. But I wanted to show you what happens when the AdBlue goes to fault. If you have a look at the exhaust here, and there's some nice snot hanging out of it. And that's what happens with the AdBlue injector when it gets stuck open and that's too much AdBlue through, and you end up having loads of problems. So now this is all completely deleted out. So it's got nothing's been touched, tampered with in any way, shape or form. Everything's where it needs to be. There's still AdBlue in the tank. You just simply don't put it in anymore. No reminders on the dashboard, no warnings, no failure to start. The 2 NOx sensors have been deleted out. I'll just quickly show you them. You may not be able to see them on this, but I'll just attempt to show you. If you excuse the noise for a minute. So, will this have them or not? It may have one at the back, or it may not. Some do, some don't. And this one doesn't. But what this is, this is your AdBlue tank. So this whole tank now is redundant. Full of AdBlue, but as you can see, it's got all the pumping system. Well, you can't because it's up at the top. So all this is redundant now. This is your pipe for your AdBlue, which goes up, as you can see up there, to an AdBlue injector. And what also you've got is your NOx sensors. There's not much to see on this. You can't see it, but it's basically mapped out the 2 NOx sensors, the tank, the pump, and the injector, and all the warning lights, plus the remap. So a good little idea with that. So that's it for today, guys. There's one car coming in. I haven't got time to record. The ML, I've just been round it and touched up some of the bits on here, as you can see. It ain't no Picasso kind of work, but it does. It's certainly nothing perfect. And by the way, that wasn't me, that was on from years ago. Just a few of the scabs, just to give it a little extra coat to get through the summer. What I am going to do is I'll actually show you what it is, because I can't be arsed and I ain't got time to wash it. And I got given this contraption off somebody who knows how good it is. It's on a long wire, and it's Williams waterless wash and wax. We shall see. Saves us having to get the hose out. There is bits of moss which, once the car gets dirty, I'll jet wash out, which I probably will on the weekend at the campsite, get full of dust. But we'll give that a go. It'll give it an extra protection, get the dirt off. So we'll see. I might come back to you when I've done it later on. I'll catch you soon. I just thought I'd end off today's vlog, beautiful night, just with these results of this ML, of that I've showed you. Washing, just spray on, wash and wax supposedly, but you just wash, what do they call it? Waterless wash. Never been a big fan of it. This car stood for 6 months and I've used it. I really shouldn't have, it's not the right way to use it. Get a look at that. Absolutely come up like a new car. I'm over the moon at that. Yeah, I know it's got dents and stuff like that, but it's a working vehicle. Really happy with that. What do you guys think? I personally, over the moon with that. I really didn't expect them results. So now it's ready to go. What I have been doing, apart from washing it, I've greased up the hinges and whatnot on the roof box and the locks. I've oiled all the door hinges. What else have I done to it? Checked all the brakes underneath, give it another little bit of coating of grease and various different stuff I had lying about. I'm going to do a proper wax oil midsummer. But yeah, I just need to start using it a bit now and see how she goes. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the way it's going. I've not had to do anything inside. I've got a new sat-nav disc coming, like I've mentioned, dated to 2014 rather than 2004. Yeah, I know it'll be out of date, but it'll be less out of date than the one I've got. But yeah, I'm going to get home now and start packing up. I have been doing other things, but my mind's just gone, cleaned all the windows, sort of my camera thing, it's not at the right angle, I need to sort that out. I like that. Beyond, oh yeah, that's what it was, getting the screen wash jets up and running as they should be. Oh yes, and cleaned up the headlights. Really pleased with those. Really, really pleased with those. Before anybody says, no, I don't drive around with my fog lights on, I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes. But to be quite honest, them fog lights aren't barely even like a side light compared to the new things on modern cars. So don't start. I do MOT cars, and I know for a fact, just on dip beam, most of these new cars are 1,000,000 times brighter, quite literally, than the fog lights on that car. So if I did want to put them on a dark road, I will. Rant over. Catch you soon, guys. Actually, I don't know if I can show you, I don't know if my dad's got to put away in the car yet, but I've just found some bits and bobs for the caravan in my van, because when we're going to the caravan on Friday, I'm taking my little van. I think he's got them in there. Let's have a quick look. I found a canvas cage, which is here, which I'm going to put in my van for Hunter, because I need to keep them separated, because Harvey keeps licking his wound. Plus, it's just a better idea having that, I think, in the van. Keep them secure, so I can have the boot open without them jumping out. And, has he put it in here or not? Oh, yeah. A wastewater barrel, because we use the water very little in the caravan, and I've got a huge drag-along waste master, and it's a right pain in the arse. It's like sort of this high, gets covered in mud, it catches all the caravan, bringing it in. That's about as much as we use. The only stuff we use the water for in the caravan is washing our hands, we don't drink hot drinks, and washing up the odd thing, which is very rare. So that's getting replaced, and I know you might be saying that's going downhill, Dan, for a waste master, but I don't use it and it does my head in. Well, I do use it, but it doesn't get filled up. I don't know where the other thing is. I think he's left that in the garage. Well, I'll show you. That's in here. And I found a bigger water master, a bigger aqua roll, because mine's a 25 litre, and I forgot I had this, is a 40 litre one. So that would last us the whole trip, to be quite honest. So yeah, 40 litre one. So it's a bit bigger than the one we have. So it's just less to and fro to the tap. But like I've said, majority of the water for us is just rinsing our hands and stuff like that. And it's not very often we'll fill a whole waste master up. So there we go. I'm going to leave it there. Get back, I've got everything to sort on the caravan. I might do a little bit of video on, because like I mentioned, this week will be car related and caravan related. If you don't like it, I can't do anything about it, because that's what I'm doing on Friday, is caravanning, and this is going to start a lot more, so get used to it, guys. Otherwise I'm just not filming at all. But I do know a lot of people like the camping, a lot of people like the cars. It won't be 50-50, nowhere near, but that'll be 10 or 20% of camping and caravanning related stuff. But like I've mentioned, it's all got to do with cars, my van, the caravan. It's not like sitting building a campfire kind of thing. So anyways, I'll catch you tomorrow on Thursday's vlog. Unfortunately, guys, as you can hear, still sores, men, loads of people out there. Can't do any filming today. Constant still sores going. They're doing the compacting for the tarmac. They've got all the front of the garage dug up. I'll do it quick. I'll show you in a minute. So I want to leave it there for this week, guys, because I'm doing a bit of caravan content, which I've done this morning and which I will be doing over the weekend. So this is just going to be a short weekly vlog. I've included enough in over yesterday and Tuesday, so I'm going to have to just leave it there today. Plus, we're waiting on 2 cars to come in, which is later on. We've got exhausts to strip and everything, and I just can't do recording in amongst this. But as you can see, got lorries, all the entrance dug up and everything, so just can't do it, sorry. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this short weekly vlog. I'll be back as normal next week, but like I've mentioned, I've already got all of it. Again, they've got the jumpy jacks going there, compacting it all down, but it's all good, because I'm hoping next week we're all back to normal and we'll never even know they've been. So I'll catch you on next week's vlog. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Hit the like button if you have, leave a comment. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe.